Hey everybody, this is Mitch again. A lady up one of the xTool groups on Facebook put up this wonderful piece of art yesterday. Her name is Makai Olivier. I think I got that right. But Makai did this. It is all done on a laser. So this is actually a piece of veneer that's been cut into a circle and dyed. And then this, believe it or not, is actually a really, really thin glazing to the point where I had to zoom in to say, hey, that's actually real wood. So anyway, I was just fascinated by this. I said, I'm gonna put this on my experimentation list. And so anyway, we're gonna walk through how to recreate this. Not exact, but close. So hang on and let's explore this wonderful piece of art. So we're in XCS, and I'm going to have a couple canvases here because this is going to be a multiple layer. We're going to actually have three canvases, and each is going to be a little bit different because we have different materials. So this is just a piece of art that I got off of Creative Fabrica. I just looked for leaves, and these were hand-drawn leaves. I'm like, this is not exactly what she had, but I don't want to duplicate exactly what Makai had. But anyway, so I downloaded this, and let me kind of back up for a second and tell you how I got to this part. Sorry about that. So I have a couple different ones here. So we're going to choose this one. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to outline it. So I want to outline. I want to put my distance at 0, and I want to make sure that I have the inner outline for the bitmap set because I want to do the inside and the outside. So you can't really tell because it's still there, but this is actually working. So I'm going to confirm this and then move it out of the way, and I'm gonna basically make sure that this is set to no output because I'm done with it. And then here is the one we have over here. So I want to change it to cut, and then I always change my cut color to red. So this is exactly the same thing. So this is very, very delicate, so you're gonna have to be very careful whenever you cut it out. What I use for this is a 16 or 1/16 inch or 1.5 millimeter veneer. She used 1.5 millimeter plywood. I didn't have any of that, but I do have this veneer. So I had some maple and cherry veneer, and I think I grabbed the maple one to do this. And so we've got it outlined. We need to change it to cut, and then from there we'll just cut that out, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. So anyway, so that's the first step. The next step is she had a square frame. I couldn't find any square frames that I liked, and so I got a 8x10 regular frame. So here I have a rectangle, and this is actually a piece of mat board that I got that I just basically, this is the back. So this is just dull, just flat matte coloring of white. The colors on the other side. So I want a white background here. So this box here is 254 millimeters wide and 215.9 millimeters high, which is 8x10. And then this is what we're going to use as our background for our artwork. So the next thing I need to do is create another canvas. Actually, we're not there yet, sorry. So what I'm going to do also, so this is going to be a cut operation, as you can see. I also want to put in a circle here. And I want the circle to be centered. First I want it round. Oops. And I want it to be centered on this. And if we go back to the artwork that we had, you'll see that the round background does not take up the full width, and I just really love the way this looks. So we're going to do this similarly. So what I need to know is how big do I need to make this? So jump back over to XCS, and let's say we're just going to size this and rearrange it a bit. And I'm centering it on the thing. I think that's good. What I may do is I may come over here. I'll copy this one because they're the same size. And I'll bring it over and I'll see how that looks on top. So that's just a bit too big. So let's make this a little bit smaller so that we kind of replicate the same effect she had. Well, that's good. We can always change this. Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, okay. So let me get rid of this, and then I am going to center these two. Love my new center command. Okay, so these are centered, and then what I'm going to do with this is I want this to be a score. And this is a special thing, so what do I have for cut? I have 83 for power, so I'm going to make this like a 20, randomly 29. And really all this is going to be the placeholder for the other object that we're going to create here in a minute. Okay, so that looks good. And then, so basically what we have is we have a rectangle we're going to cut out. We're going to score a circle. This is where the third part is. So I'm going to go over to and create another canvas. I'm going to use a user-defined material. It's going to be 0.7 millimeters. I am on a triangular prism. I'm going to copy my circle from my second canvas to my third. Rename that while I'm there. I'm going to change that to cut. And I am going to be using, 65, I think is what it was. So 60 and 15. So change that to 60, 15. And this is going to be a piece of dyed veneer. So it's really thin and it'll give us good background without having to paint anything. Okay, so we got our first one. I'm going to go ahead and kill this because I don't need it. Save everything. So the first thing I'm going to cut out is this because that's what's loaded right now. So I'm going to cut this out and then we'll come back and I've already got the other one cut out and then I'll shift over and cut this one out and we'll be right back.
And here is our results. So we have the leaves themselves cut out of this very thin veneer. As you can see, we have our background, we have our mat with the where the circle goes here scored into it. So we know I'm going to be using some Star Bond Thick to apply these. So this one I'm just going to squirt in a circle, and then there is grain to this because it is a tree, even though it's blue. So let me try to find. Do a vertical. Would that work? Yeah, let's do that. Put it into my mark. Not going to be using an accelerator on this because I'm afraid it would bleed through the veneer because it's very, very, very thin. Okay. The next thing is where we're going to put this. So there's a tree. Oh, that looks good right there. Something like that. Yeah, I think that works. So kind of, yeah, trees do that. Okay, so on this one, I'm going to use a fancy Q-tip because I'm worried that it'll spread everywhere. So we'll try this and see if this works. So I just want to put it as little as possible, but enough to make it stick. So once it's down, it's going to be almost impossible to move. Okay, and that's where I want it right there. See if that was enough. It may not have been enough. So even though this is a very thin veneer, as you can see, this end's kind of hanging off, so we're going to have to deal with that, and that's okay. I don't think I have enough glue. Let's try this again. Didn't always work the first time. There. Again, the idea is I'm trying to keep from actually getting it everywhere because it's a giant mess. Okay, one more time, see if I can get it back where I had it last time so I can get all these spots covered. Probably what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put something heavy on top of it, so I'll be right back. Okay, that's doing good. Perfect. Okay, so let's get our frame. So this is a shadow box frame, as you can tell here, because it's deep. So I'm gonna put this in here, just like this. Oh, that's funny. Well, that's something I was not expecting. That doesn't fit. Well, I thought I measured it correctly. I did not. Well, let me go fix that real quick. Okay, we're back. Cut a ½ inch off of it. I'm not really sure how that happened, but I just measured it wrong. That's all there was to it. Okay, and this is the top. So this is what the top would look like. Again, I want it done horizontally. Put this back in. And there we have a very simple and I think just amazing piece of art. I think she did such a good job with the design. I'm happy I could replicate it. Anyway, let's go back to the computer and we'll go through all the settings one more time just so everybody has this down. Thanks.
I figured it out. Mystery is solved. The reason why this was too big by ½ inch is because I had 8.5 by 11 in my head, which is my measurement, and my height is off by half an inch. So basically I had put in 8.5 by 11 and it didn't fit on the board. I'm like, well, it should fit on the board, but it doesn't fit on the board. I'm not sure why. And then like, oh, it's 8 by 10. Well, I corrected the 10, but I didn't correct the 8.5. So that's what that is there for. So anyway, so let's go through the settings here. So on the leaf, I have a material thickness. What I did is I used the wood tag because it's 2 millimeters thick. I use that as the material because it's very, very similar. And then I use two millimeters with, I have it on a third party, as you can see, a Dofiki, what you called it there, honeycomb. So triangular prism has to be turned on. And then for the power, I have a setting for 1.5 veneer that I created. It's cutting at 92 for power, speed of 9, and passes is 1. On the board here, I have a thickness of 1.5, and again, this is just matte board. In fact, I got it from Michael's. I asked, do you have any scraps? And they gave me some scraps that they had. I thought that was wonderful. So 1.5 millimeters to get on a triangular prism. I used 100% power at 12 speed, 1 pass. And then finally for the veneer, I have a thickness of 0.7 on a triangular prism. And then the cut is 60 power and 15 for the speed, and again 1 pass. This stuff is really, really thin, as you can see at 0.07 or 0.7, so that cuts out pretty quick. So those are the settings. I am really, really pleased how this turned out.